Welcome into Pigskin Preview presented by Prize Picks, where it's week 11. We're talking about everything that's happening on this college football Saturday. The cats are off, but there is a cat climbing on my neighbor's fence right now. So, what in the world does that sound? Jiminy Christ. We got wild animals all over the place. No Kentucky football, but some really good quality college football games. Billy Napier, he's off the hot seat. He's staying at Florida. And we got a college football playoff bracket, Luckett. So a lot of wheels are turning here in the month of November. You're muted. There you go.
Yeah. Napier, I don't think that was really a surprise, Nick. It seemed like it was trending that way. Once they got the DJ Lagway bite, I think it was clear that he was coming back.
Yeah.
So he could shake Kentucky's hands. Once that game happened, I found it hard to believe that they were going to punt on an extra year of DJ Lagway. And it's another evidence that these schools are worried about this revenue sharing and how to fiscally manage that. And so they're not going to take on a $28 million buyout. I think I saw.
Yeah.
It would have been one of the largest here in recent history. So yeah, Billy Napier's coming back, and the schedule's just as tough next year as it is this year. And so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, we're now setting up, Nick, where Sam Pittman's kind of saved his job.
Yep.
Napier saved his. Clark Lee is out of hot water. Probably get a raise out of this season. Right now, it looks like there's going to be no changes. But I wouldn't bet on that. You can always expect the unexpected. There will be some level of movement. We'll just have to wait on it. But that's kind of where we're at right now with the coaching carousel. It sucked because it's been so quiet. We haven't really gotten anything. But at some point it'll get rolling.
Could happen on the plains, could happen in the bluegrass. We're going to be keeping a close eye on it all of our KSR. But you're not here to talk about the coaching carousel. You're here to look ahead at week 11, where, as I mentioned right off the top, we do have a college football playoff bracket, and we have a couple of seemingly elimination games for the college football playoff. Ole Miss hosts Georgia. LSU hosts Alabama. I don't know which game you'd like to address first, but I think I would just like to start by saying I have a hard time seeing Lane Kiffin win in this game, just from I just haven't seen it perspective. It's nothing to do with the matchup, because I mean, really outside of that Texas game, I mean, how much has Georgia inspired you this year? In on Kiffin's case, like they've just beat up on the bad teams they've played, right? Like they haven't when they got to go toe to toe. I don't know. It's really hard for me to handicap either game, but I just would like to say that I can't expect Kiffin to win this game because that's always been his biggest bugaboo, right? Is winning one of these big ones. I just trust the coaching a little bit more, and the kind of Carson Beck bounce back too. I mean, he was just throwing it directly to Florida receivers, and I don't anticipate that happening again, even though I think this Ole Miss defense is better than the Florida defense.
If you look at advanced metrics, Ole Miss grades out better than Georgia in a lot of areas. But I can't go to the window and play Ole Miss in this game.
No, you just can't. And I don't know what it is, because they were the opposite with Hugh Freeze. Like that's what they did. They won big games like this, and then they maybe kind of stubbed their toe and finished 9-3. But he got Bama twice with Bo Wallace.
Yeah, and it sounds like Trey Harris is not going to play. Jordan Watkins is doubtful. I wouldn't.
I don't. Lane's doing some funny stuff with that injury report. That's ridiculous.
Again, Kirby Smart in this spot. I would, after a so-so performance from his team last week, I wouldn't play against them. But I will say that the computers, I think, like Ole Miss in this game. I think there's a lot of reasons to pick Ole Miss to win outright in this game. It's just can you do that? And you're right. Like I would be worried how Ole Miss played against Kentucky, because Kentucky's mini Georgia and how they play stylistically in a lot of ways. If you had that much trouble with Kentucky, how much trouble would you have with Georgia? Last year was just a total bloodbath in Athens between what would have been two playoff teams. Ole Miss makes the playoff last year.
Yeah.
But they went to Georgia and it was like 50-7 or something. I mean, it was an absolute. We were driving back from somewhere, Nick. I think, from a UK game, and it was over before we even got home. It was
Mm-hmm.
like 35-10 or something.
I remember that. Yeah, they kicked their ass.
Yeah, late in the
uh,
year. So
yeah,
it's like the
yeah.
same kind of situation here. So I wouldn't go against the side. It might be a game where I just sit back and watch it. I need to look at the total. Might be an over. Because Georgia's scoring, you say what you want about Carson Beck, but they're scoring 30 every game. Like every game but Kentucky, they've just gone out and scored 30 points. And they play good defenses. So they're probably getting to 30.
Total's
I think,
54 and a half.
yeah, if you think Ole Miss can score 24, which I think they do, I think the over is probably the play here. I think that's the side I would like. And that might, heck, I'm talking myself into it. That might sneak its way into the column. I like that over there.
You can check out Luckett's Locks every Friday morning over on KSR Plus.
7-2-1 last week, so come on over.
7-2-1. He's just giving you money. All you got to do is just pay $1 for 2 months at KSR Plus when you use promo code UK1 when you sign up. Lots of great content over there. Go ahead and do that today. The nightcap Luckett, though, the Bama at LSU 3-point dog at home. It's kind of I have the opposite in my brain of what I just said about Ole Miss, Georgia, where there's part of me where I can't see Georgia just losing that game in that spot. And everybody's thinking LSU's an underdog at home at night at Death Valley. They ain't losing that. I mean, we saw what happened in the Ole Miss game. Crazy stuff happens. It feels like this is the Kalen DeBoer sort of wild stuff happens, but then he gets it done, and the Bammers are happy for a little bit longer. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why I'm going off gut there. Maybe it's because Nussmeier has been throwing a bunch of picks. I don't know. But just going my gut. That's what it feels like. It also feels like an over game, and this is a high total at 58.
Alabama has been a road favorite 8 times, Tiger Stadium, since the new millennium.
Mm-hmm.
They are 5-3-1 against the spread. They're in Tiger Stadium as a road favorite. Brian Kelly's 3-0 so far. He's got, as a home dog, he's gotten that Tiger Stadium magic. To me, Nick, I think a lot of this, I trust Garrett Nussmeier more than I trust Jalen Milroe. I think I trust Brian Kelly and Brian Kelly's team and staff more than I trust Kalen DeBoer and Kalen DeBoer's staff in this game. Kalen DeBoer's first game in the stadium. Like,
that's true.
Anyone that's ever been there will tell you it's just different. Like, you really have to experience. It's hard to describe, but you can feel the Creole. Like, you can feel the bayou. You can feel the magic that in that place when you go there. And so and we've seen Bama, I think, Nick, melt down in some moments here in this season. I like LSU here. Went outright. I'm not going to play it, but LSU would be my side. It's hard because LSU's defense is just so, and they can give up these big explosive plays, and LSU is not running the ball well. So typically teams like that are teams I don't like to side. Can't run the ball, and your defense is glitchy. But I think I trust them here at home in a playoff eliminator game. Brian Kelly won this game 2 years ago. Kind of as a bigger dog. I think he could win this one tonight or Saturday night.
Those are the two big ones. There's a couple other really intriguing matchups, though, just around college football, not specific to the Southeastern Conference. And one in particular, Army's been a covering wagon, but they're playing a North Texas team who scores a ton of points. That's a 3:30 Saturday kickoff. North Texas is a home dog of 4 points, and the total is 63.5. I don't have any skin in the game, but I thought about, like, let's just hop on the Army train, like they're kicking everyone's ass. And then I look and I see the numbers that the Mean Green are putting up, and I'm like, maybe we just watch from afar, because we know that the stakes. I mean, Army still has college football playoff hopes for all intents and purposes, and they need to go win this game on the road. And North Texas has not been a joke, so that's a game I'll be monitoring on Saturday. Although we're not going to be playing that game whatsoever at all. Just something to keep in your tickler file. I think the same could be said in Navy at South Florida. Navy picked up their first loss last week, and I have a feeling it might be the end of the road for the fun military school story, but just something to keep an eye on this weekend that could be fun.
Definitely. I think that AAC race in general is going to be very interesting down the stretch. There's a lot of teams involved. And if Boise State were to slip up just once, it might be
keep the door open for them.
Team that the winner of that could steal that bid.
I don't know what to make of Vandy, South Carolina. I don't know what to make of it. Same way with Oklahoma, Missouri, where they're both just kind of like, I could see it going either way, right? I guess if you were South Carolina, it's just easy to blindly play Beamer in November, like you probably should have done last week when they took on A&M. But those should be games that are relatively close. I can't imagine going to the window and taking Oklahoma -3 on the road. Just is Brady Cook back? Do we know if Brady Cook is going to be playing?
He was questionable on the injury report. This is one to watch to me. I don't see how Oklahoma's laying points. Something's going on. There's some funny business going on. So that probably just needs to be a stay away. But yeah, like what's going on here? This Oklahoma team, Missouri's got a good defensive front that cannot block. This team is laying points. What's going on here?
I will not be taking the points. I will be watching your Cincinnati Bengals tonight on Thursday Night Football. We got a vibe check on how we're feeling about that game.
Joe Burrow as a dog is probably the best bet in the NFL. I think I read 15. He's like 15-3 as a dog of 3 or more. So this is always a good spot. They play well. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough without Higgins. I think the Ravens are a nightmare matchup for their defense. So it's going to take, I think, a special Burrow performance. But I think they'll have a shot in the fourth quarter. We'll see how it goes. But, yeah, we'll see. Mike Gesicki playing it again. Anytime touchdown. Those at the board know. It feels like that's every Sunday tweet. Mike Gesicki today. But I'm playing him again with T. Higgins out. I think he'll be probably the top target in the red zone once they get down there.
And you can get on the action, too, with our friends at Prize Picks, presenting sponsor of this here preview show each and every week. We're happy to have Prize Picks on board, the best daily fantasy sportsbook app out there. And on the board, Mike Gesicki, over more than a half rushing, receiving touchdowns. It's got the little red demon, so that means you got good odds there. Joe Burrow, more than 1.5 touchdown passes. And Justin Tucker, more than 8 kicking points. He's averaging 8.8 per game. And I know he's been shaky, but we're probably going to get a lot of points in this game. So 2 field goals, a couple touchdowns. I can get there. Just fine. And when you sign up to play Prize Picks, you submit a $5 wager. Prize Picks is going to put $50 in your account when you put in promo code KSR. So go ahead, sign up today with promo code KSR. Play $5 wager, and you can hop on with us. And that, I think, is like a $45 winner, give or take, if you use that $5 bet. So sign up, promo code KSR, play $5. You'll get $50 in your account with Prize Picks. Prize Picks, it's the best. Get in on the action today. Let's go ahead and get to our picks. Why not?
Nick, you're on a little hot streak.
We had 2-1, and then in my radio picks, I was 3-0 last week. So we're cooking. We were not cooking with the horse racing bets. Here's the thing, too, I just got to learn from my big, stupid mistakes. My dad was playing 5 across the board, and I was playing 10 to win. My dad won lots of money last weekend. I'd won 0 money. Just what was I thinking? It's 2 runner-ups that would have
you're like the better that just plays parlays instead of just betting these games singles.
No. Well, and they get me with their stupid money back specials. Where it's like, if you bet $10 in second or third, you get your money back. Well, if I just want to bet on the damn second or third, I'd win more money than my money back. So that's what I get. That's what I get. Good luck to your Bengals tonight. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm excited to watch it. I kind of waned on the Thursday Night Football a little bit, but we've been out of the NFL. sometimes when Kentucky loses, I just get disinterested in football altogether and don't want to watch it. So this is how we're getting you back. We're gonna get you back too. We're gonna have the Bengals take down Lamar Jackson. We're gonna get to laugh at Louisville fans. They'll be crying or something. We need a Lamar fumble. I wish you could bet on a Lamar fumble.
You can bet interceptions on some books, but I have a hard time finding fumbles.
Would love Lamar Jackson fumbles as something to play there because that's just love that tweet every time. It's my favorite. So hopefully that's a fun game tonight. But we do have some fun games for Saturday that we've got picks for. I'm actually starting on Friday night though, Mr. Luckett, because I love this game so much. I can't quit him. They haven't been as good on the road this year, admittedly. They've let me down a couple times on the road. But is the Rose Bowl really a road game? I mean, there's probably going to be more Iowa fans at the Rose Bowl. So I really like Iowa. The computer analytics really like Iowa in this game. I think SP Plus had them winning by 16, and the spread is 6. And I was really just debating Iowa -6 or the Iowa over, and I sided with the trends. 7 of the last 8 Iowa games have gone over. And then UCLA, they've finally started scoring some points the last couple of weeks. They had 27 points last week against the Nebraska Black Shirts. So give me the over. I think I'm going to actually parlay the over and Iowa -6. I never do that, but I think I might do it for this occasion. Juice that up a little bit. Love this spot for the Iowa Hawkeyes against the UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, this run, like Caleb Johnson's going to run for like 2,000 yards, their tailback. I mean, he's having a monster season. They still really can't pass the ball, but
the quarterback can run it though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the new guy they're playing, Yal Sullivan, can run it a little bit, and they're kind of doing what we always thought could happen, like because these Iowa games they create all these field position advantages for their offense, and they're just able to cash them in, and that's how they're blowing teams out. Isn't necessarily because their offense is just a wagon or anything. Offense is still just but yeah,
they're scoring points.
A thing in this game is UCLA's playing good football right now. They won at Nebraska the week before. They won at Rutgers, and they're scoring some points here. So should be an interesting game in the Rose Bowl. I definitely think that's got a chance to be more exciting than people may think. And so I definitely think that's a good chance. They've been an over machine, as you said.
I am just like all of my favorite games are the ones that are making me stay up late. And bye week, I should be catching up on sleep. There's just been a lot going on, and I know I'm exhausted, but I know it's going to be like midnight on Saturday night. I'm just like, I can't turn it off. I gotta watch. Or excuse me, Friday night. But I've got an After Dark play on Saturday night too. That I freaking love it. I love it so much that I hate how much I love it. Luckett, who's your first pick?
Yeah, nooner in the Big 12. West Virginia catching 4.5 at Cincinnati. These are two teams that have played a ton. Of course,
Big East off.
East days.
Yeah.
Big East off. West Virginia kind of owns the series. It's a big game for both teams. Very evenly matched. I'm going to take the 4.5 points here. I like how West Virginia could potentially control this game. They've got the better running game in this matchup. And West Virginia just fired their defensive coordinator, so I think there's a chance maybe they could get that defense bump. First game without the coordinator. So of course, Neil Brown and Satterfield have head-to-head matchups in the Sun Belt prior to this. But I like the Mountaineers here. Give me West Virginia. I think they got a really good chance to win outright in Nippert Stadium.
5-3 Scott Satterfield, Cincinnati versus 4-4 West Virginia. You know Satterfield. He's just like, oh, I've got a chance. I got to get closer to 500. I'm flying way too far over my record here. Like let's dial this thing back a little bit. Nippert Stadium, underrated, kind of cool venue, just because the way it sits down. It's right next to the basketball stadium, right in the middle of the campus. So I'm curious what the crowd will look like for that game. I can't get a good gauge on the buy-in there from Cincinnati fans with Satterfield.
They've sold out their last couple games.
Nice.
It's not a huge stadium.
No, and but that's good. Like it creates a good atmosphere. They're kind of on top of you there, so I think it's pretty darn cool. I'm staying in the Big 12 for my second pick, and I'm going to another dog. And I know you've went to this well before this year, and they've let you down. but Texas Tech is a 3.5-point home underdog. And look at what's been the biggest story in the Big 12 this week?
It'll be Colorado could make the playoff.
Oh, you think so? People are talking about Colorado again? You think they're listening to their headline? Not listening to their headlines, listening to the noise, reading their headlines. I was going through it. Colorado, they've shellacked teams. Don't get me wrong. But the only close game they played, they had the Hail Mary to win it. And that's it. Like that's the only game they played. They needed a prayer to do it, to beat Dave Aranda and kind of knock him, batter him around. So I just think this is going to be a close game. I see this going down to the wire. It's going to be a pretty rowdy atmosphere, and I just trust Texas Tech to deliver, because I'm waiting for that moment when Colorado just gets a little too big for their britches and makes a mistake that's cataclysmic. So that's why I'm taking Texas Tech here against the Buffs.
Yeah, and two of these wins for Colorado, UCF, Arizona, are two of the worst teams in the conference. Arizona has turned out to be awful this year. And that Cincinnati game was really close, Nick. And they kind of pulled away at the end. Texas Tech is undefeated as a dog this year. I think, it's typical Big 12 game is going to come down the wire between these two teams. So
now, what the 3.5 just it's so enticing getting that hook, but I have a feeling it's going to be I'll lose by 4. It's just my luck. But hey, we're changing that. We're getting it right. Let's get right with the dog. Take down Colorado right when we start believing in them. Time to pull the ball out from us like we're Lucy, and they are Charlie Brown. Look at who's your second selection.
Yeah, ACC game here. Miami going on the road. I'm going to take the home dog, Georgia Tech plus 11. Under Brent Key, Georgia Tech 7-3 against the spread versus ranked foes. The last one was a big Notre Dame game, but they didn't have Haynes King. Haynes King is back this week. I think this Georgia Tech offense can score to keep up with Miami. So I like the Yellow Jackets plus 11. This is when they're at their best, playing a ranked team at home. So give me Georgia Tech plus 11.
It's awfully dangerous betting against Cam Ward. Not for the faint of heart. That guy just runs around, does some crazy stuff, chucks it up, and then they keep the chains alive. I don't envy you. Sanford Steve likes to say that he's the worst person to bet against in college football right now. And so good luck. Good luck with that, buddy. Best of luck. I told you all I liked my last play so much that I hate it. I love it. I love it so much. It's another 3.5-point dog. We're going to the Holy War. Utah is a home dog in the Holy War against BYU, undefeated BYU. And I know that Utah has been underwhelming all year long. They dealt with the Cam Rising injury stuff. And now you look around and you thought they were going to be Big 12 champs, and they've lost 4 straight games. This is where they get right. Kyle Whittingham is going to have them up for this game. It reminds me of the Louisville games at the end of the year, kind of like last year's, but a couple others where you're reeling at the end of the season, but then you're playing your rival at the end, you're at home, and that's the game where everything gets right because you are ready to freaking go. BYU, this is the best BYU has been since God knows when. And my only disappointment for our listeners is that I don't have the stats on this game, on Rice Eccles Stadium at night, because it feels like Utah, they're the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs if they get a night game at Rice Eccles Stadium.
They've lost a couple this year.
At night?
Yeah.
Well,
Arizona beat them at night. We talked about how bad Arizona is, and TCU beat them at night.
Fake news. It didn't happen. I'm blocking that out. I'm putting my blinders up, and I'm taking the home dogs in the Holy War to get right and knock BYU off. And a part of that, too, is also this feeling of like, all right, BYU, are they really going to go undefeated and win the Big 12? Are they? Come on. November chaos starts this week. And this is a big part of it.
Yeah, you can you could definitely see this becoming really BYU's welcome to the Big 12 moment. Welcome to the Big 12 chaos. The team that wasn't in the conference last year was your rival. You add them in the league, and the first time you play them, they are the one who ruined your playoff bid. You could definitely see that playing out here. This is a game I like Utah too. I don't know if I can get there, but I think that's the side.
You have to go with the home dog in a rivalry of this magnitude. I love the nickname, the Holy War, as well. That place is going to be juiced up. 10:15 after dark. It sucked not having an after dark game last week. So, and it sucked not having. That's what it is. Like we didn't have any big power conference Friday night games. We didn't have any after dark, and I'm just like, got any more of them late night games? I got to go back to that well. Luckett, I know you're going back to a well here with the team that you can't quit for your final pick.
Yeah. Going to the Big Ten. Night game on the Peacock. Washington, plus 13.5 at Penn State. I've talked about how Penn State is a wagon as a road favorite. At home, it's a little bit different. Struggled against Illinois, struggled against UCLA, played bad against Ohio State, one possession game against Bowling Green. They're not good at home, typically. Meanwhile, Washington is the box score kings. They go toe-to-toe with everyone in the box score, and I think they've outgained every one of their opponents this year. Now, they do some dumb stuff, and that's why the record is what it is.
They're going to be able to go atrocious.
They're going to go toe-to-toe with Penn State, I believe. And you're getting double digits here. 2 possessions, almost 2 touchdowns. So give me the road dog here. I'm going to take Washington plus 13.5. I don't think they win, but I can definitely see this being a one-score game.
Yeah, especially after the emotional loss a week ago. I know they're going to have some juice in there from the wideout, but that actually might even add a little bit more pressure on them. And then this is a Penn State team too that struggled punching it in. I mean, they were very much like Washington a week ago, moving the ball but not scoring any points. So I don't hate it. The only thing I would worry about is just the red zone mistakes for the Huskies. I mean, because we've seen the story a few times, and
the Indiana game is perfect if they don't throw that pick six.
Yeah, it's a different ball game. Indiana might not be in the playoff. Thought they might not be the darlings of the sport.
So we have to avoid the whole just catastrophic situation, like miss 6 field goals like they did against Rutgers. But I like them here. Whatever it was. I mean, it was a ridiculous amount. They ended up losing by 3.
Oh, man. Well, hey, I hope you have a fun bye week, Luckett. I hope you do. We're going to be sitting back and watching all the games on all the TVs?
I'll be at a wedding on Saturday.
Oh. I think you should bet the Cats on the hardwood, too. That was some easy money, Wright State. It's going to take Vegas a while to figure out those numbers.
Well, I think I might go a different way. Kentucky basketball overs. This is a principle we should just play until it
doesn't work.
Crashes and burns.
I would think so. I mean, that Duke game would probably be an over.
Well, would be if you were paying attention to basketball KenPom metrics at all last year. BYU at a time where it's like a top 3 or 4 team early in the year. And it was basically because their offense was just overwhelming teams with how they play. So I think you saw some of that in game 1. How it's just like, it just overwhelmed, I think, Wright State. And I think against some of these inferior teams, it could do that. So overs until the books adjust might be the route. And then unders when SEC play starts might be the route.
I'm game. We'll just over season. It's still, and that actually works out well too. While basketball crosses over with football, you just play the overs until football season ends, and then we transition to unders. Boom, love it.
Nice,
great strategy.
Balance in my life.
Oh man, this has been a lot of fun. Hopefully, you gained a little knowledge and you're going to gain a little money in your wallet by checking out the Pigskin preview presented by Prize Picks. We'll be back next week with more. Enjoy the Kentucky football bye week. Go Cats and go Kroger.